OMG, if you could react to Casual Geographic's video, I'd scream. It'd be funny to see a marine biologist confirm or deny his claims. Alright, you asked for it, but first, I need to drop a content warning. We will be discussing the reproductive habits of sea otters, which can be violent and disturbing. If that's not for you, I totally understand, but be sure to check out some of my other content about sea otters. In fact, this link up here will take you to a really cool video about how a sea otter took a hearing test. But for those of you that are still here, welcome back to another behavior breakdown. I'm a marine biologist who is using my work with marine mammals around the world to raise awareness and help with conservation. And today we're going to take a look at a video by Casual Geographic called The Most Disturbing Fact of 2021. It has over 4 million views on TikTok, even more here on YouTube, and has inspired an entire genre of comments that I see on all of my otter videos. Including two of my all-time favorite comments. Look it up. At KPassionate, do your research. I've been working with sea otters since 2010. I knew this stuff before it was famous on TikTok, before it was cool. This behavior was first documented in a research paper published in 2002. And we'll be referring to that paper often as it is the primary source of information for both of these videos. Okay, without further ado, let's hit play. Let me get my earbuds.
I just want the records to show that y'all literally asked me to do this, so fun fact, sea otters are adorable, fluffy, and they have one of the most violently aggressive mating habits of any animal.
He's not wrong. Their breeding habits usually are quite aggressive, especially in appearance.
Because a male sea otter will grab a female and then clamp his vice grip jaws around her face to keep her still so hard that he'll sometimes rip her nose pad off.
Also true. If you see a sea otter with a horribly scarred or even partially missing nose, it is likely a female sea otter.
This fur Cosby will also shove her head underwater to the point where she can drown mid-stroke. That's not the disturbing part, because the same otter you think is cute will continue to violate the body of the female even after her soul's already evacuated.
Okay, here we go. This video makes it sound like this is something that every male sea otter does. This is misleading, but it has been documented. In fact, that research paper I mentioned, link in the descriptions below, found 2 instances of male sea otters copulating with dead females in 2 years. Once per year, so while it does happen, that's far from the norm. It's also important to note that these cases were documented in California, where the population of sea otters is absolutely booming. That population growth is wonderful news, and if you want to find out why, click on this link up here. But the problem is that these southern sea otters are not expanding their range in an adequate way with their population growth. This is important because adult male sea otters will establish a territory that they then patrol and guard against other male sea otters. And all the female sea otters in that territory are his to breed with as long as he can ward off his male competitors. And that means, because they are not expanding their territory, that there are hundreds of male sea otters, either juveniles or geriatric males, who are unable to hold and defend a territory and thus do not have access to breeding females. Not because they don't want to, but because the biggest and baddest males won't let them. And that's the context for this video. And context, as you'll see, plays a huge role here.
And because an otter's love life looks like the bastard child of Happy Tree Friends and CSI Special Victims Unit, a lot of otter colonies will have way more males than females. In fact, one population of otters was called the Boys Club because these Weinstein weasels wrecked the ratio.
Casual Geographic has done his research, and a lot of what he says is true. Like and follow. Plus, he's extremely entertaining.
Which means a lot of male otters are often left without a mate, and this is the part where this video is probably getting taken down. Because down bad otters that weren't able to find a mate will often settle for anything roughly the same size. Bad news for baby seals. Male otters have been recorded shaw-shanking baby seals and then...
Okay, juvenile seals. juvenile, not baby seals. Smaller, otter-sized, not fully grown seals. And the research paper, again, that I've linked down below is very specific about this difference. It documents 19 instances of this behavior by 3 different males over 2 years. So 3 males out of a population of 3,000. That's 1 in 1,000 male sea otters. Ruined it for everyone.
And they will continue to have relations with the now past tense baby seal for up to a week, and they'll even defend the corpse from equally morally bankrupt males. And it's not just baby seals and lady otters on the hit list.
Okay, this morally bankrupt phrase is funny, but it's a bit problematic. It reminds me of this comment. I know they're evil, but they're still so cute. Nature isn't evil. It's not good either, it's indifferent. Nature doesn't have morality. Morality is a uniquely human concept, derived from thousands of years of philosophy and culture. Sea otters, and all animals really, do not follow these same standards. In the same way that we don't expect them to wear pants out in public or close their mouths when they chew.
Also, male otters will kidnap otter pups and hold them hostage until the mother pays ransom in the form of food.
Also true.
So if you ever see a sea otter cuddling a stuffed animal at a zoo, he's probably using it. Because a lifeless, non-consenting object is exactly this demon
True.
weasel.
Animals will try to breed with inanimate objects. I don't know if you're aware of this, but humans do it as well. You know where I think this comes from, though? Like, look at these adorable faces. The dichotomy of seeing the cutest animal on the planet and then being faced with the reality that it is in fact just a wild animal is hard to understand. Looks can be deceiving. Sea otters are wild animals. They are incredibly large. They can be aggressive, and they can be very dangerous. I would never let my dog near a sea otter. We're also acting like, for some reason, sea otters are way worse than other animals, and that other animals don't do this. Take, for instance, seals. Fur seals have been documented doing this exact same behavior to penguins. I don't think that because an animal has done something that we humans deem immoral means that we should hate the entire species. You learn one bad thing about an animal and then that's it? I guarantee then you should just hate every animal. Something as cute as a baby elephant. They stick their trunks into their mother's behinds to pull out feces and eat it. It's called coprophagy, and it's actually a very important part of them getting their digestive tracts up to speed. This is gross by human standards, to say the least, but I don't hate baby elephants. And I don't think you should either. I just think context is important. But at the same time, he's right. Nature is not always pretty. Nature is not always kind. Nature never read Aristotle or Immanuel Kant. Nature doesn't subscribe to human morals. On the other hand, it's okay to enjoy a cute animal. It's fine if you like something on the internet. It's okay to love sea otters because they are stinking cute and still respect that they are dangerous animals. It's also okay to drop a comment down below if you have a video that you'd like me to do a behavior breakdown on. And of course, perfectly acceptable to like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified when our next behavior breakdown goes live. Cheers. I also find it funny when people come into my comments saying that they hate otters because of how evil they are, how evil the male sea otters are specifically, are commenting, the vast majority, on videos of female sea otters. So how does that work? We have to hate the female sea otters because 3 males were jerks in the early 2000s?
They're mine! They're all mine!
What I want to say is, like, they're like, do your research. I'm like, you watched another TikTok video. What? That's not doing research. I did the paper. It's in the description. Oh, that was rude.